It's like obscene.
Okay,
Hi, I'm Allie Slagle. I develop recipes. I just came out with my first cookbook, and I'm going to be making 3 different kinds of grilled cheese. You might be saying, why do we need recipes to make grilled cheese? But within the construct of bread, cheese, and something to coat the bread, there are so many things you can do. I'm gonna walk you through how to make 3 grilled cheeses: kimchi grilled cheese, French onion grilled cheese, and mozzarella and carrozza. So if things happen to the outside of the bread, still grilled cheese. If you add stuff inside, still grilled cheese. First up, kimchi grilled cheese. In the 80s, a lot of pizza chains started cropping up in Korea, and the combination of mozzarella and spicy things kind of went from there. You could probably use any bread that you have. This is a brioche, very soft, very delicious. I also brought a milk bread, but my friend's dog ate it this morning, so no milk bread. We're gonna chop some cheese. This is low moisture mozzarella, which means it won't sog your bread. The mildness of the mozzarella is really nice with the kimchi. I think another deceiving thing about a grilled cheese is you kind of need more cheese than you think. You have to really pile it on because when it melts, it shrinks. We're gonna chop some kimchi. Mayonnaise has a lot of fat, so it toasts really nicely, but it doesn't burn. You don't have to oil the skillet. You can just put it right on and it won't stick. So the cheese is in on both halves, and this kind of helps the cheese melt more quickly. And I'm gonna cover the skillet even though the recipe doesn't say to. I wrote this recipe 3 or 4 years ago, and my grilled cheese knowledge has expanded since then. Covering the pan will help the cheese melt a little quicker. The temptation to eat a really good grilled cheese really quickly is very understandable, but you gotta take your time to get that really good grilled cheese. We should talk about all the things you could do in the 6 minutes it takes for your grilled cheese to be ready. The dishes. Make a drink. Turn the laundry. Make a side dish? No, don't do that. Okay, I feel good about that. And then you'll just pile the kimchi onto one side. Okay, should we eat this sandwich?
Yeah.
Here's the kimchi grilled cheese. So someone in the comments of this recipe suggested dipping your sandwich in the juice from the kimchi jar, and I really want to try that. It's really so good because your attention really goes to the kimchi, like all of the bites of the cabbage and the crunch, and then you kind of get this like ripple of cheese that's like, oh right, like this is a grilled cheese. Gooey, spicy, toasty bread, that's all you need. So now I'm going to make the French onion grilled cheese. The first step is caramelizing onions. This grilled cheese uses 1 pound of onions. Part of me feels like if you're gonna caramelize onions, you should caramelize a much bigger quantity because it keeps in the fridge for a long time or in the freezer, and you can kind of like add it to many things and it will make your scrambled eggs, your salad dressing, your roasted broccoli more delicious. Ooh. I'm crying now. I was doing so well. There's a lot of steam coming out, which means the moisture is releasing from the onions. In about 3 to 5 minutes, they'll be softened, and then I'll take the lid off, reduce the heat, and then the caramelizing will really start. We're using Gruyere because that's what French onion soup has. So in total, the caramelized onions will take about a half an hour. So you can grate your cheese, do your bread. I mean, is that a bunny or is that a bunny? That's the most bunny bread I've ever seen. You'll see the quantity of onions really depleted, and we're getting some brown bits on the pan, which is good. So I'm gonna reduce the heat and add a little bit of water and scrape up all those bits. It doesn't seem like a food that will teach you patience, but this grilled cheese and grilled cheese in general is one where if you give it time, you will be rewarded. This I would call a deep golden brown. I feel happy with how much time and care I put into these onions. The last step is just to add red wine vinegar, just to kind of wake them up a little bit. We let the onions cool just a little bit. They're such a beautiful color. The reason the cheese is going into the onions instead of them being layered is because the heat from the onions help the cheese melt quickly. So that's our filling. Okay, sandwich in. We're gonna cook this for about 3 to 4 minutes until the bottom is golden. There's so much butter in this pan that I'm just gonna swoop it around instead of adding more butter. I think it's ready. The ratio of onion to cheese is just, it's like an onion sandwich with really good aged cheese. It did take some minutes, but I mean, look at that. It's worth it. Earlier in the day, we talked about what is a grilled cheese? How do you define it? And there's no right answer. Generally, I think it's like toasted bread with cheese. And if that's your definition, then mozzarella and carrozza totally counts. It is a grilled cheese meets a mozzarella stick. As with so many classic Italian dishes, the origins are a little fuzzy, but carrozza means carriage. So one hypothesis is that the strings of mozzarella, when you pull open the sandwich, resemble the reins of a horse and carriage. The mozzarella stick part of this is the panko, and then we're frying it in a shallow amount of olive oil. I think it's like a 1/4 inch. So you're not griddling the bread, but there is still bread, so it is still a grilled cheese. Because each of the elements are pretty mild, like white bread, mozzarella, breadcrumbs, you really need to season each element and make sure that they are their loudest selves. In the recipe, I say to slice low moisture mozzarella. I wrote this recipe many years ago, and we're always learning new things. I realized the sandwich sliced mozzarella I think would actually work better here, just because the slices are more even, so you don't have to worry about like how perfectly you cut the cheese. You want kind of like a 1/4 inch of cheese, so you can just stack the slices. You want to move the sandwich to the fridge, and this helps the mozzarella stay cold so that once it hits the oil, it doesn't just like flail out of the sandwich. So we're gonna fry our mozzarella and carrozza in a 1/4 inch of olive oil. I'm testing the oil to see if it's hot enough by putting little pieces of panko. It should bubble gently right when it hits the oil. I'm gonna get a sandwich. So whenever you're frying something, you want to lay it in away from you so that if it sputters, it goes that way and not up in your face. So we're laying in this way. It'll only take about 1 to 2 minutes per side. You know when it's done when the panko is toasted. And then a final little sprinkle of salt. And this is just so that when you bite into the sandwich, you get like this hit of salt right on your palate, kind of like eating a potato chip. Oh my God, the carriage is real. It's so good. The panko is like bread on bread. Like I just breadcrumbed a bread. This is a great dinner version of a mozzarella stick and also pretty fun to make. Thank you for coming on this grilled cheese journey with us. I hope you learned some new flavor ideas and some new tricks. And if anything, I hope that it propels you to make a grilled cheese right now.